Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube. This is Matt the StarCraft, if you weren't already aware, and I've got a nice little 1v1 for you between two Korean players on the Korean ladder in Syrian Crater, I believe is the name of the map, or Syrian Gorge. No, Syrian Gorge is World of Warcraft. This is Syrian Crater. And it's going to be between that guy and that guy. Yeah, so let's enjoy this. No, I'm just kidding. Come on, guys. I know the names of this people player. The blue one is going to be none other than MarineKingPrime himself from Clan Prime. One of the best Terran players out there. Only a select few, I would say, are better than him. And then we've got GGI. That is going to be... I don't actually know much about him. That might even be just a different name. When I did grab the replay, though, it did say MarineKingPrime versus GGIS. So I'm not quite sure who that is, but we'll see. Maybe you guys do. Let me know. Call me an idiot, stupid, worst caster ever for not knowing who this person is. And please inform me ever so politely as to who that may or may not be. I'd appreciate it, as I would like to know as much as possible. Going to be doing a typical opening, just throwing that supply depot down. And you can see the different positionings here. It looks like Marine King is more opting for right by the mineral patch. I like this placement. I mean, small little things in the pro scene can make all the difference. Right here, he can pop this up, wall off that mineral line, force that SCV or Hellion or whatever decides to swing around here to kind of elongate their path just a bit, give him enough time to pick him off, or even just wall it off so it can't scoot out just as easily. But it does look like MarineKingPrime is going for gas before barracks, while GGI himself is going for barracks before gas. Just a very small, minor variation in their builds to allow MarineKingPrime to get, obviously, a little bit of gas much quicker, allowing for a tech-heavier early game, potentially Marauders, or just Marines. Maybe we'll even go see an early factory, so we'll see if that pays off for him. He may be just early factorying it up. It looks like this SCV is going to be doing some harassment, trying to get that SCV kill, but not before MarineKingPrime pulls his SCV out, but it does look like he may pick that off. MarineKingPrime needs to get that sucker out of there. He's only got 5 life, pulling him over here, and throwing on the auto repair for the other ones. Does not want to lose that SCV at all, and now he's going to be attacking the other one. And now it's going to be driven off. So GGI did force him to pull a few extra SCVs, use just a bare amount of minerals to grab, to repair that SCV, but still didn't want to lose it, as it'll eventually pay itself back in kind by just not losing it. And it does look like there's going to be a tech lab going down in addition to this barracks, as well as a factory. So tech lab, factory, maybe we'll see some blue flame Hellions going down, which would not be surprising. And himself over here, it looks like he's got a barracks and something sneaky going in the corner, dropping a factory way in the corner, has walled off, so gonna not allow any scouting from MarineKingPrime at all. Won't know what's coming, as this is not going to be enough. A Marine just going to be picking off the ouch, that SCV, losing his life just barely. If we take a look at the unit composition, so yeah, that put MarineKingPrime, they were exactly even all the way up to that point. And now he is switching on over, so it does look like we'll be seeing some Hellion play. Let's take a peek-see here with Tech Lab, maybe even some early siege tanks. No, the Blue Flame Hellions is what's going down. Nice little research graphics, woo, shiny, and he's going to go straight for the expand after that, throwing his barracks right up there just to narrow that ramp just a bit more, pulling his Marine brag, telling him he's done his duty and can come on home, as he huts all the way home and relaxes right here. He is the only army he has, and it looks like Marine King just scouting, seeing where any bases are. As far as this map goes, while these guys are just getting their buildings up, I want to talk a little bit about this map. I am personally not a humongous fan of this map, primarily because the natural expansion that they give you is so incredibly hard to defend. It is close to your ramp, yes, but it has 2 gigantic openings, one being here and one being up here, and they can come in from this ramp right over here and just sneak on the back, and this opening has 2 different ways to enter the opening. It's just so hard to defend. Sometimes you'll see, I've seen a few pros playing this map, and they'll grab this one first because it has those rocks and is a bit easier to defend, no extra ledge, only has here, which is actually smarter, but the natural, which is right here, is just so difficult to defend. And then Blizzard, I don't know why they made it so difficult to defend. This map and a few of the other new ones I know some people are not fans of, me being one of them. I'm just not a fan of a lot of the new maps, and they got rid of Metalopolis, which is one of my favorites. Dropping a scan GGI, just seeing what's coming out. Does have some Vikings coming out here, and as well as it does look like we have Banshees in the cloak tech. I was paying attention up here. Does he know that? Is that why he's doing it? He is playing completely blind. There's the scan, only going to reveal that though, so has no idea those cloak banshees are coming. whatsoever. This could be problematic for him. He's going to be scooting on his Hellions out of there, no longer needing that barracks attached at all. And now he's going to be moving over here, maybe replying with some Hellions of, some Banshees of his own. Again, he has no idea that those are there, and he is pretty much has a full scout on everything. So instead of using the energy on mules, he did use it to scout. If we take a look at the unit count, MarineKingPrime still one ahead. Now he's going to be trying to set these buildings on fire. He is an arson, not liking what's happening, but GGI does have a siege tank at the ready to try and ward them off. He's going to be firing, needs to pull those Hellions out of there, and he does. And now the Cloaked Banshee is going to be making his way. And if we take a look at the production tab, it does look like we have a Raven coming out. So completely expecting the Banshee play. I love that, and maybe people will be like, well, what the hell, that's cheating, how does he know? I'll tell you how he knows. He scanned the main base, has no idea what he has, sees no buildings easily visible, assumes that they are hidden, doesn't want Marine King to Prime to, that's gotta suck, does not want MarineKingPrime to see what he has, and MarineKingPrime just automatically assumes must be Cloaked Banshees, as that is a typical cheese, especially since he hasn't been hit by a 2 or a 4 racks at this point. So assumes the only other thing he's hiding has to be Cloaked Banshees at this stage in the game, and he called his bluff, and now the Raven is pretty much going to serve its purpose here, and even coming out with Banshees of his own is a little supply box, but that won't last long. Now this Banshee needs to scout out of there. That sucks. GGI's little Banshee harass, not going to produce any results, is just going to be warded away and is going to lose a lot of resources in doing that. And there's a scan just to make sure that he finishes it off, as the Raven is not the fastest in the world. And that is pretty much it. And now he's got a bunch of Hellions. He's going to be scouting up to the front, poking up, seeing if he can see anything, maybe cause some damage, see what he's got for defenses, maybe check for a natural or a natural in his third, or what would be considered his third, lining up a wall, just kind of creating this little wall just to make sure he doesn't have any SCVs that kind of scoot on out. And now himself is going to be moving that and placing I think that's a reactor. Positive. There it is, a reactor. So dropping, looking for a much more marine heavy style of play, transitioned over into 3 racks, but the problem is, again, he invested so many resources and so much minerals and gas and time into this that he's going to be significantly behind compared to MarineKingPrime, who has been allowed to do what he wants. He had to, he had to dump a little bit of resources into that Raven to kind of get those Vikings out, but really, he hasn't been stalled too much in what he wants to do. Looks like he's doing a very tech-heavy style of play, or I should say mech-heavy, not tech-heavy. But I did lose a couple of Hellions there as he's going to be poking it out, and it looks like GGI is looking to take and secure his natural at this point, and looking to get that additional income, while Marine King himself already has his natural. Again, sometimes you'll see them grab this natural, sometimes you'll see them grab the third. It looks like, as I was saying, GGI is going to be grabbing this as his natural. I like the choice. It is just so much easier to defend and so many different standpoints. And you know, it's not that much further of a walk for your units. So we'll see how that ends up paying off for him, if it does. And it looks like the barracks is just going to be kind of scooting on out. Potentially using this bunker to scout. We'll see what purpose this serves. He does have his Marines still poking up the front, checking what's going on to see if he doesn't have his natural or this over here or the gold. So can assume that he has his third as his natural quite well saturated, and it looks like Marine King still ahead in the work account, though GGI is going for the concussive shells for his Marauders. So thinking about a Marauder heavy army, this SCV has the worst job ever, is to go scout the enemy base to see what's happening and relay all information before communication is lost and he dies of bullets into the face. So we'll see how that pays off for him. Another SCV out there gonna get lost to that Hellion, and now does lose that other SCV to some siege tanks. It does look like, and this Raven just did a barrel roll. Must be listening to Peppy, as he was on his communications list, I do believe, telling him to do barrel roll. And so he is going to be going extremely mech heavy. Looks like it's going to be primarily siege tank Hellion, which is smart, as he does have a primarily infantry and bio-based army. So we'll see if this ends up paying off. He's going to try and take off whatever he can. Realizes that the concussive shells are basically going to kill him and needs to just turn around and sack them. The SCV, who was holding the Zelnag Watchtower, are going to be killed in the fray. And looks like he's building a supply depot over here. And now going to be kind of met at this wall of siege tanks, and this bunker has a couple of Marines in there just to kind of serve that purpose. And this barracks, What is he planning on doing with this other than kind of floating it off in the corner and not using it? Realizes he doesn't need to, dropping a bunch of point defense drones and auto turrets, rather, not point defense drones, as those are the air version of that. And now this is why I love Terran versus Terran. This right here is the reason I'm a huge fan of Terran versus Terran, because of the siege war. It is so strategic. This is the most strategy in any matchup. It's basically purely based on positioning and unit composition, and this Banshee can get a free tank kill. I'm not sure why GGI didn't pull that tank back, but that basically gets a free tank kill because this Banshee is now in the safety of the siege tanks. All those Marines walked right into that ring of death and hit that siege line, and now he's pretty much on top as far as the food goes by 25 after that. Really took the advantage there, just again because of that positioning. And now he's going to run into this huge wall of siege tanks, and Hellions are just going to finish them off. Banshee, Raven, and they're both scanning, looking for any cloaked units, making sure there are none. And these Vikings are pretty much just useless at this point, as he did pick off that Banshee, but that Banshee was pretty much just the end of his air army, as now it's pretty much just going to be straight Hellion siege tanks. And this here could do a lot of damage if done right. Now we're going to see the positioning is going to be played off, and this is actually just a sheer numbers thing, but finishing off those siege tanks, scanning to make sure there are no other army coming down that wall. And we'll see what kind of damage he can do here, getting right on the ramp and going to be sieging up in the bottom line, dropping a missile turret just to be sure no other air Banshees or anything cloaked decides to show up and destroy him. And now he's just going to be looking good, has that ramp secured, can drop scans up on the high ground and make sure he hits them, but right now he does have vision and he looks just dandy doing so. There's the missile turret finishing up, dropping a scan on that siege tank to just finish it off if he can, but there's the other scan so we can finish off his siege tank. So again, as I was saying, Terran vs. Terran is purely a positioning game when it comes to this one. It's usually always boils down to just siege tank versus Marines. They did have a few air units kind of there just to do some throw in some variety and keep us viewers entertained. And it does look like behind all this, MarineKingPrime is grabbing a third way up in the corner, what would be the main of another player if they spawn there, doing a nice little transfer. So not only is he doing damage to GGI, he is getting nicely ahead of him, and now this Banshee is going to provide him high ground vision, and he's going to be able to, oof, there goes those siege tanks. And now I'm not sure what GGI can do. Actually, he realizes that the game is lost and leaves the game with a Korean GG. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love MarineKingPrime, one of my favorite players, and I look forward to next cast, guys. I have a few other things up there right now. I am playing through Amnesia, The Dark Descent, and pissing my pants for your entertainment, so feel free to check that out. And I do have the Indie Corner Project Zomboid Part 2 up. Highly suggest checking out the game, as it's pretty freaking amazing. As always, guys, thank you so much for listening to my cast, and I will see you guys next cast.